I can find our screen. There we are. We got it. We found it. Good morning, and welcome to Meditation, where we are identifying the metas of the frequencies and the beliefs and the emotions and the metas of everything, right? Because we are here to be creating dimensional coherence. And that is what Code 4 is all about at the core, at the basis, at the foundational level. What the Metatron Code is really about is how do we create dimensional coherence? As we've talked about in the past, we are absolutely multidimensional beings. We are fragments of all the different dimensions coalesced into one body. Very simply, we could think of that as body, mind, soul, right? Different dimensional ways to perceive different energies. But extrapolating that out beyond that, we have access, and especially through the Metatron Code, we're here to recognize how like pre-K, like we're talking infantile, our construct of understanding body, mind, soul is as like the primary dimensions we have to access, right? Because we have intuition, we have all of the senses, we have so many different ways to be connecting to our dimensionality. And so, of course, we are here in this program, in the Metatron Code, to be understanding the different aspects and what we're really capable of in this dimensionality. And so why it's relevant today for Code 4, the name for Enoch's ascension to the Metatron is Prince of Presence. And I want to break that down for a moment, because ultimately the challenge we're solving, because in this component, we're looking at what are the challenges. We're solving victimhood, right? We are solving victimhood. And so if we break down that title, Prince of Presence, it's speaking to being present, being in the now, and sovereignty, right? But also a coming into sovereignty, a coming into sovereignty through the masculine lens. So with that, what do I want to say? How do we want to crack this can open? Because it's a big one. We could spend the whole code just in this one module alone, along with many other bodies of work. When we look at Code 4 and what Prince of Presence is really speaking to, and I'm going to read the actual code in a moment, it's truly speaking to how in the now, from that place of sovereignty, we are able to capture everything that we're experiencing at different dimensional levels and bring it into coherence. In another way to say this is we are able to take one thing and put it together with a second to make a third, right? One and two things coming together to make a third, right? So it's the masculine and the feminine, those forces and powers and everything that are represented by them, whether it's our action and our intuition coming together to make a third outcome, to bring us into our sovereignty and call forward or call us out of our victimhood and put us in the driver's seat to exercise our free will. So how does free will fit into this? As we identify these different dimensions, we get to choose, right? Yesterday, we were in the density. We captured the greatest degree of density with the greatest degree of light. And from that, we emerged in a new way, a new capacity, right? We brought new energy in by blending both of those fields. Again, an example of creating dimensional coherence. When we're in the density, when we're in the matrix, when we're facing the different challenges, it can be very, very hard, to say the least, to harness those different emotions, to pull ourselves out of the victimhood space and remember that we are these sovereign beings, that we are here to not just bring light, but to choose our own path, because we don't have to necessarily choose the light. We can choose something else. We can be in this space and in whatever way we deem appropriate for us. We get to dive in and discover our desires, find our desires, and really harness those and take them to the next level. So that brings me to my second statement that is encompassed within this field, this fourth code. And this is where we make the transition into the dimensionality of frequency, right? Out of the physical form into the frequency form, and how we actually navigate and achieve our objectives, if you will, when we are bringing the one and two things together to create the third, to bring that energy, that frequency into our body. And this statement is that frequency is the new currency. Because if you remember how, think to how we've been tracking. We've been tracking with the first code, identifying anxiety, which is driven by our disconnection from source, to the second code, identifying our blueprint, right? And through the blueprint, we're looking at what is illusion, what is the false story, or the disinformation versus what is the true story. Then in the third code, recognizing that all stories are true. So the fourth code we arrive at, we no longer are being held victim or held in what we have defined ourselves as, but we are stepping into, it's that first step into sovereignty, right? To be able to claim it for ourselves, to create, to exercise our God-given powers and our creation power. So how do we know we've achieved this? Because ultimately we're driving on frequency. If we're trying to pull out of illusion, then we get to look at, well, what is the frequency of the illusion versus not? Like, we're able to feel what is the density versus what is the light. And as we're doing that, really at the core fundamental level, what we're discerning is the frequencies that are emanating themselves based on what dimension, what topic, what thing we're tuning into. And so as we start to calibrate our minds to a Metatronic perspective, if we start to look at frequency versus responses and reactions and everything else, if we can get to the root source seed, identifying the core fundamental frequency, then we are in full control and power. None of the external stories, limiting beliefs, traumas are going to be able to impact that frequency, because we know we're dealing with the pure source. Thus, frequency becomes the new currency. In the way we recognize or know in our meditational space that we've actually found it, that we have landed on what it is what we call the violet flame. The violet flame is the convergence. It's like, think masculine and feminine, blue and red coming together to make the purple, right? It is the blended result. It is sovereignty, right? It's not ironic or a mistake that royalty is typically seen in colors of purple. Purple is the field of sovereignty. And when we are tracking, when you close your eyes and maybe you're used to the ascended masters, right? And we know they run like Melchizedek, it's alchemy, right? It's alchemy is the convergence, energies coming together to make the third thing. But that violet flame becomes, in our meditation, the symbolism for, aha, okay, the frequencies are blended, like cake is baked, we're good to go. So that's what we're going to be up to today, is anchoring in that violet flame. I know for my people that are non-visual, what this flame is going to look and feel like is more so a heart-based energy. We'll get into the physicality of it for those of you that are less visual. I promise today you're probably going to get some visuals. You may not see full, but well, I know you guys are going to see full violet at some aspect and point of this meditation, because ultimately we're doing what you do every day. We're just lending the significance and helping your brain continue, your mind, adapt that Metatronic mindset to be able to really acclimate into what it means to hold dimensional coherence, being able to take a frequency that feels out of alignment, put it together with our future vision, bring them together, right, to create the third. Thus is calibrating, it's creating. It's not balance. It's not about balance. It's about bringing it all together into an encompassed whole so that there's no resistance in the experience of it, right? In the experience of the energies that we are exploring and playing with. And I'll give like a very 3D example around this. It could be something as simple as you're trying to achieve a goal, whether that's, creating harmony in your family dynamic, or a sales objective where you're trying to convey value, if you will. The way we recognize, you know, all of that is bringing not the density or wherever the fear and the doubt or the resistance may be, not by making that go away, but by raising its frequency to the desired frequency, right? So we're always just scales of balance. We're just allowing that pendulum to stop swinging so that all of the frequencies can sync up, right? And that current or currency, both value and the actual energy that is flowing through our systems, becomes integrous, right? It becomes an alignment, and that becomes our path forward. That becomes the space we want to manifest from. And it could be, to achieve that, you do need to lay in bed for a couple of days and give yourself the downtime that your body needs to process, or to see through the illusion, or to allow emotions to move through. And it could also mean that you need to get up and go and distract yourself to find new energies to allow the time, right, for us to stabilize and balance. Or thirdly, it could mean you just come into a meditation like this and create coherence within the field. So let me now give you the code for the Prince of Presence. This is the Temple of the Violet Flame. And the code for the Metatron here, from the Metatron here, is: you are the keeper. Actually, no, we're going to pause. Nice deep breath in, nice big exhale. Another nice deep breath in, really focusing on raising the energy up from your feet, like we're fluffing a pillow, fluffing a comforter, raising the energy up. Nice deep breath in. Really feel that chest expand, not from the inhale, but almost as though it's like we're opening the lower part of the rib cage to draw that energy up and in from the earth. Really want to have you focus on drawing. Like the wider that rib cage and belly gets, the more open and expanded it gets, the more it's able to pull up energy from the earth. And then exhaling out. Another nice big inhale. It's like we've grabbed a point on a comforter and we're just lifting it from the center up off the bed and then dropping it. Doing this a couple times. Beautiful. All right. Continuing to breathe like this. You are the keeper of the flame, bridging all of the dimensional planes. The creation power granted to thee, 1 + 2 = pure alchemy. Another nice deep breath in. Big exhale. Unlocking the dimensions so they may reveal codes of the mustard seed, heaven made real. I want to have you breathe here for a moment, because when we call in the codes of the mustard seed, Christ spoke about this. Jesus spoke about the mustard seed as the true truth. And the mustard seed is a symbolism for the Vesica Pisces, for the sacred marriage, for the 1 and 2 things coming together to make the third. And that is you in your sovereignty, you marrying all of these different dimensional realities. So another nice deep breath in, drawing the energy of the earth, that beautiful matrix, up into your field, letting it feel with each inhale. We're going to come in a little bit different way today. Each inhale is like a wave. You're standing in the ocean and a wave rises as it passes over you, kind of bounces you up, right? And then as it passes, your feet land on the sand again. There's a buoyancy with it. So with each breath, we're just drawing that buoyancy in. And as we exhale, you can begin your light link, just imagining the sun beneath you. We're going a little bit reverse order. feeling that sun shining down and letting it just be our anchor up above as we envision again that wave coming in and filling us up, filling the spine, letting not only your feet feel like they're rising off the sand of the bottom of the ocean floor, but your spine being supported, the tailbone. And on the next inhale, imagining the lower back and the kidney region being supported. And exhale. And as you feel the pressure and the weight drop from those, then allowing your sitting bones to open, your hips to relax as you are lifted again with this breath, drawing that earthy energy of the matrix up into the abdomen, again, feeling that golden light. We are priming the pump of our life force energy in this exercise. We are priming the pump. In a moment, this energy is going to be flowing through entirely on its own. We're creating, harnessing the power of polarity, that golden light against the earth, and the diamond ray, the luminescent fields of energy that keeps rising. Next inhale in, feeling the shoulder blades. And maybe even you notice that you have wings back there that are dipping into this energy field. Another nice deep breath in and exhaling out. And next inhale in, feeling the energy rise all the way through the rib cage up to the neck, almost the sensation of like being held, like sitting back and there being a perfect headrest to support and hold your head all through the energy. And exhaling. And next one now, imagining yourself drifting and floating on a cloud. This cloud of luminescent energy as you allow your head to relax, drifting on the surface of the ocean, floating on the cloud, feeling the sun shining down, connecting with your forehead, its golden rays and light, hitting the surface of this cloud, the waters of emotion and energy, rainbows beginning to refract all around you. I want to have you drift here for a moment as I read the fourth code again. You are the keeper of the flame, bridging all of the dimensional planes. Breathing in and out here as you feel and imagine yourself drifting on this ocean or on this cloud, the liquidy energies of the earth in their rainbow luminescent form, mirrored with the sensation of the warmth of the sun shining down upon you, bridging the dimensional plane. Go ahead and feel into the physicality, imagining the warmth as well as the visual of the sun in your mind's eye. Imagining your fingers floating through the water as though you're paddling. You can feel their cool wetness, liquidy energy. And feeling those rainbows of light as though there's droplets of water that the sun is hitting and little rainbows evidencing themselves upon your skin. The creation power granted to thee. 1 + 2 = pure alchemy. So right here, right now, we are going to begin to spin. I want you to envision as though I'm seeing multiple things simultaneously, so just pausing for a moment. The geometrical plane. So we're working different dimensions today. We're harnessing all of them. So imagining the geometrical plane, which is a Merkaba. It's a triangle pointing up, overlapped by a triangle pointing down. So coming into your physical body and beginning to feel a swirling sensation where those waters, like a vortex, as though those waters, no longer waves rising, and then being held on the ocean, but now there's a swirling current beneath you, that lower triangle beginning to swirl. And then in the opposite direction, imagining that sun in the mind beginning to swirl in the opposite direction. And here is our dynamic tension in the polarity, much like unscrewing a lid. You take both hands and use reverse forces to pop it open. So the geometry guides us how one and two things can come together, and through that polarity, through that dynamic tension, we create the third. And so for most of you, you're probably dropping straight into your heart. All of the visuals and images disappearing. You may feel sensation through your shoulder blades going in one direction, through your hips going in another, or you may just have a spinning effect. The key is we come into our hearts. And from the center of our hearts, we gaze out upon our energy field, and we can see those upper forces, that upper triangle spinning in one direction, the lower in another, or you may just envision that you're inside of that jar with the lids being taken off. And as it is, allowing your body to begin to melt into deep relaxation, and just holding yourself in the center space. Ask yourself, where is the golden light of the sun now? Is it shining like a shell of protection out around your auric, in your aura, at the edge of your toric field? Asking yourself, where is that luminescent energy field? And you can most likely feel it surging up from the inside like a current, now running. Dimensionally, we've dropped straight into the toric field. So just focusing in, breathing. You don't necessarily need to have these visuals, just letting the sensation run, letting your mind adjust to these specific steps that we're navigating through without judging. As we come into the center, we come into the core of our toric field, which would look like if we were to cut an apple in half, where the seeds are at the heart of the apple, your heart resides. That energy comes up through the stem, or I'm sorry, through where the apple, the bottom of the apple and out the top, or up through the center of your body, through your soul line. Beautiful. And many of you are getting it now. You may start to see just a field of black in your physical body, total calm. And with that black, some pulsing of different colors, different light, or maybe far in the distance, you can sense a perfect little dot of brilliant white light energy. Notice I haven't moved you into your Metatronic mind yet. Just holding this field, letting you feel the physicality of your field before we marry it to the Metatronic mind. We're about to do that. We're pulling all these dimensions together. All right. And now letting your mind relax. letting yourself drift, allowing the energy to come to you, much like orbs of light just drifting in, becoming closer and closer. You could envision it like out of the darkness, the sun emerges, but instead of it being the sun emerging on the horizon, it's that brilliant diamond ray, that source creation light from the galactic center. And so visually, you may see it pulsing towards you, or it may be moving away from you. There's no right or wrong. It's a different conversation. Rabbit hole we're not going to go down today. No pun intended, because we are in the center of our toric field, much like a donut hole. All right, now imagining the diamond ray, that brilliant diamond light, not just being something that's pulsing in through your mind's eye, but it raising up, coming up through the toric field. So through the feet, as though we have a seed of energy, a seed of light coming up through your feet, rising through the heart, rising through the spine, much like in the same way we felt those waves at the beginning, lifting us up. So go ahead, taking breaths in. Let's repeat those breaths, breathing in, drawing that diamond ray up and through your field. And if you're much more sensation and physically oriented, you're going to feel the chest, almost some constriction around the heart, because we're enhancing the frequency inside of the body, right? We are calibrating, adjusting the frequency in the heart space. We're picking it up. We're adding electricity, energetic energy, well, it is electricity, but I'm not going to get into the science of it. Adding the energy to pick up the pace, the sensation within the heart. Keep breathing that diamond ray in, allowing it to rise. Each breath drawing it deeper and deeper into your system. You're going to feel it pass through the heart and then land, right? We're going opposite today. Usually we imagine the sun and allow it to melt into our mind's eye. This time we're drawing it up and through the field and allowing it to land as though it's rising up to claim its spot at the center of your mind's eye, until the pineal gland, as it lands, becomes so bright, like a light bulb of brilliant light is switched in inside of your mind. Beautiful. Continuing to breathe here, we are now moving from the physical, and we are going to create coherence between the physical and 3D and 5D, physical and light. We want to allow this diamond ray now, like a column of light, pure, laser hot, focused energy, anchoring you into your core, into your center, to begin to infuse its way out into the toric field. So if we were to see this, it'd be like the energy rolling up and through the center of your body and then splashing out as it comes out the top of your mind and rolls down the outside or the inner shell of your aura, unlocking dimensions so they may reveal the codes of the mustard seed, heaven made real. As this energy continues to run, you may begin to feel yourself as though you're inside of an egg, a cosmic egg. That shell shifting and taking different forms, becoming translucent, codes, looking at different dimensional energies, colors, running as though we're sitting inside of the egg, a dome of frequency with colors and light swirling around. Geometrical shapes and patterns, like beautiful energies. I want to say mantras, but it's not mantras. I can't think of the name that we trace and we draw. So funny, I can't get the name for it. All of it beginning to swirl on this dome surrounding you as you become this seated light being inside of this perfect little energy field, this perfect bubble of light. And inviting the energy to begin to melt, to come into coherence. Everything synchronizes and beginning to swim in an ocean of purple energy and light. If you're physically oriented, it's just going to feel like a deep relaxation and melting sensation down your spine, as though we've burst the bubble of the heart, and that energy is releasing now. Deep relaxation through the rib cage, through the belly, through the shoulders. Tension that you didn't even know was there in the top of the mind, melting. The thighs, the knees, the calves, feet, the hands beginning to look like purple light is simply dripping out of them. This is dimensional coherence, merging all dimensions of your soul in its fragmented form, bringing them all back together into one coherent field of energy and light held within your physical body and plane. Go ahead and give yourself a squeeze, because truly what's at the core, the glue that holds us all together, is love. So squeeze that love into your body. Let all of your cells absorb this purple frequency of light and love. No need to be pushing or pulling, just presence in the here and now. From this foundational realm, our pure light body, our genius, our magic, our superpowers emerges. Emotions settle. We get to find the spin as we did, and then use it to synchronize within, allowing your light to shine out. Noticing how we did this by bringing the energy up and through, because we can also draw it to the surface in others as you go about your day, as you feel this energy, this coherence, this violet flame anchored into your system. Your frequency becomes your current. It becomes your currency. And as you imagine connecting and interacting with others as you go about your day, feeling that energy rising in them, the magnetic draw of your electromagnetic field as it holds this frequency throughout the day, drawing it and drawing them into coherence with you. Dimensions, going from being fragmented to defragmented into one cohesive flow and unit. And with that, giving yourself another squeeze, rolling the shoulders, rolling the wrists, letting yourself stay connected to your sovereignty and your presence as you choose the frequencies that will guide your day, exercising your free will, free and clear and independent of the matrix. May your day be full of so